Lee Harvey Oswald's so poor. Like he's just poor. Like poor. He's so poor. How poor is he? He's so poor that I tell you what he couldn't do. And like he just couldn't do it. When he gets into Russia and he's traveling there via, I believe it's Helsinki, he's staying at the nicest hotels. Like the nicest hotels. Who the fuck's financing that? It's not him. It's not his family. He's got nothing. He's got nothing. That's weird. Just like there's gonna be a lot of weird stuff, and I'm not gonna be like, oh, that shows that it's conspiracy. But and he goes to Russia, and he's there for 2 years, and we know this because people try to make this like something, and really what it looks like from documents and research and witnesses and corroboration is there's a very high chance he went to Russia as what's called a false defector. Like I mentioned, we send ex-military troop kids in there. Hey, what do you see? What do you hear? What's going on in Russia, right? What do you find out? That was the time in the 60s. Russia had them here, right? There's a show. What was that show in America? I loved it. I guess I should watch that again. Oh, I can't think of the name, but it's about a family and they're like Russian spies. And it's a really great show, a bunch of seasons, and they're just integrating regular, going to school, all that, but they're actually like taking pictures and, gathering information for life in the USA. And because we were two superpowers pointed with nuclear weapons, and it's just, that's the way it was then. So while he's there, he works in some factory. There's nothing dramatic. He meets a woman at a dance, and then he gets sick and he's in the hospital, and this woman visits him. And when he gets out of the hospital in like less than 2 weeks, like a week, he marries her. Like he marries this woman, Marina Oswald. And then all of a sudden, at some point, it's like, yeah, Russia's not that great. Like, yeah, it's been there, done that. And wants to come back to the U.S. Oh, all right, well, okay, come back to the U.S. Like, the U.S. probably pissed the way you left and said, and like, you're going to give them spy secrets and you're over there. So maybe you're a double agent working for them. When he comes back, okay, let's forget about him. When anybody in a situation similar that came back, and they did, they sit them down. They do sort of an interrogation. They create what's called a 201 file. They want to know everything, where they do, and how they're going to track you and their movements. They don't do that with Lee Harvey Oswald. Like, hey, welcome back. Hey, how are you? A little quick conversations. Boom. Open up a file. Right? The CIA is going to open up a file. Well, the FBI is like, well, we're going to open up a file. Like, what's up with this dude? So the FBI opens up a file. And what Lee Harvey Oswald does between then and the time that the presidents get shot, he's also seen in New Orleans being part of a group called the Fair Play for Cuba, right? Where he's handing out flyers and protesting for those. Remember we talked about those soldiers, the exiles that died on the beach, right? And he's like doing that. But then he's also seen at meetings for pro-Castro. So he's like playing both sides. And why is he doing it anyways? And then there's some speculation about like who's orchestrating him in that. And this is a lot of conspiracy here. I'm not going to go down that road. The one thing I'm going to say though is, so all of a sudden he's protesting one thing one day and something the other day, and a guy comes and has words like, hey, you were here and now they're fighting. He's even went on TV and did a debate. Like, yeah, man, like let's take back Cuba. So there's like a fight, but it's not even a big fight. And Lee Harvey Oswald gets arrested. Okay, just a little street fight in New Orleans. It's like front page news, Lee Harvey Oswald. And this is like way before the president gets shot. So I'm not saying like back then, like this, the two events were tied together. Not at all. But if you study the movements of Lee Harvey Oswald, and I want you to look, if you like this topic, maybe not, you're just like, this guy's a windbag. Who cares about this? JFK is dead. Who cares? Why does it matter? It's 60 something years ago. But this guy, Jefferson Morley, and the Mary Farrell Foundation. There's a lot of great researchers, and a lot of it's so like, tedious, and like you're back in school, but not even a fun class, even though it's conspiracy. It's like this and this and this, but he's a good guy to look at, to like track. Like Oswald did a lot of stuff that make you go, that's weird. It's almost like an organization is trying to make him look like different things, maybe like CIA, right? I'm speculating, maybe, but not to kill the president. We don't even know he's going to Dallas at this point, right? That's not a thing. Or is it? I don't know. So maybe there's other missions or other ways to put him in because we needed, like, it's the Cold War. We need, like, hey, go look pro-Russia, pro-Cuban, go look anti-Russian Cuban. You defected, we could use you. Maybe we'll use you as a double eight. Who knows? Right? There's definitely some sketchy stuff there. All right, so, and it gets sketchier, and we're going to talk. So Lee Harvey Oswald and his wife, who we don't have a lot on her because she's from Russia. Some people like her family, like she might be tied to the KGB. So is she a double agent? And as you see her later in life and with her kids, and all that, I don't think so, but tell them I know. So he struggles holding out jobs. They're very poor. They have a horrible marriage because Marina's like, I'm going to the U.S. It's going to be great. Cowboys and John Wayne and Hollywood and fancy washing machines. And they didn't have any of that. They were living in like hostels and rooming houses, and Lee Harvey Oswald couldn't hold a job or make money. But the FBI was sure interested in him, right? Because of these movements. So they didn't see him the same way the CIA did. So they created a pretty big file on him. A pretty big file. And then in 1963, when he comes back and then he goes to Dallas, the Oswalds get introduced to a woman. Oh, I hate dropping names here. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but her name's Ruth Payne. And Ruth Payne has a lot of like ties to the CIA. Like her family's in it, right? I know her husband works for military, like intelligence helicopter thing. I don't think that makes you just because you have a high level clearance, anything, but maybe it does. But there's a lot of people that corroborate that she has ties to the CIA, almost like a handler, right? And so now we're going conspiracy theory. So I'm not going to fully push on that, but you make your own choices. So she sees their marriage is bad, so she kind of like takes Marie Oswald in, this woman she doesn't know from Russia, doesn't know much about her, like. Let him focus on work. You can come stay with me. You're pregnant. You're going to have a baby. We can help each other. You can teach me Russian. Like, okay, all right. Can you help Lee get a job? Oh, yeah. So now we're in the fall of 1963. And 4 weeks before the president's shot in front of the school book depository in Dealey Plaza in Dallas, Ruth Payne helps Lee Harvey Oswald get a job at the Texas School Book Depository. There you go. Well, that's good. I mean, if he's going to kill Kennedy someday, that's a great place to work. Like, you didn't know Kennedy's coming in next month, which he technically didn't. Like, those plans, they're out, but some people know them. But again, to see how this opens up so much conspiracy, or could it just be a whole shitload of coincidences and stuff that's like, oh, that's also weird. But it gets weirder with Oswald. Like, it gets weirder. So he's working there and like he's kind of a dick. I think it seems Lee Harvey Oswald. It's my personal opinion from the research and watching him. But this is a big factor. In the beginning of November, the FBI reopens his file. They start reading his mail, tracking him. FBI agent goes and stops by his house like in mid-November. And they see that they're having a fight, and this FBI agent reports that, like, I'm going to come back another time. But he left a note, and Lee Harvey Oswald gets pissed off. He goes and finds this agent, and he leaves him a note, like, stay the fuck away from my wife. I will come, like, blow your building. Not that, like, I will go postal on you. Like, okay, the FBI. Okay. But the FBI see, like, there's something about Lee Harvey Oswald with his ties to Cuba. He was in Russia. He's ex-military intelligence. His moves are a little bit sketchy. They got a pretty big file. And, okay, so if you have a file on this guy and you question anything about his motives, and now the FBI and Secret Service are going in to vet the area because the president's coming in, don't you want to think like Lee Harvey Oswald, the guy like, hey, this guy's in a high window right where the president's going to come out. And look at this. It looks like he ordered a gun, Kirkano. They didn't know it would be used in the killing, but he ordered a gun. He had guns. He's a military guy. It's pretty common back then. So there's this file. Gets thrown on somebody's desk. And nobody removes Lee Harvey Oswald from the parade route the day or watches him. Nothing. Just life goes on. So if he was like serious problem, like, okay, the FBI would do it. They'd tell the CIA. Somebody would do it. The police, like, they didn't. That's kind of weird. That's a weird thing. And it still gets, I mean, that's not that weird. It gets weirder. So Lee Harvey Oswald didn't kill the president. Okay. And I'm going to say that right now. And I'm going to tell you why with facts. I'm not going to tell you bullshit and a conspiracy. If I was a lawyer, I'm not, you're not. But if you're a lawyer or we had a lawyer, we could probably get him off from the killing of Kennedy just because the evidence just doesn't add up. Right. So when he gets arrested, it's weird. I'm saying weird a lot, right? So here's what happens. Gunshots go off. A cop runs in the school book depository. Because no matter what happens, somebody fired a shot from the 6th floor of the school book depository. 6th floor, all the way in the corner, at about 12:30, like at 12:30. And within 90 seconds, this Officer Marion Baker's in the 1st floor of the school book depository. And he draws his gun on a guy. And that guy is Lee Harvey Oswald. And Lee Harvey Oswald, within 90 seconds, is on the 1st floor, just, what's up? Calm, cool, not sweating, not jittery, not nervous. Okay, they say he's got a Coke in his hand or a sandwich, like the lunchroom's right there. And the cop's got a gun, like, who are you? And then the guy that hired Oswald happens to be in the air. He's like, yo, this guy's cool. He works here. Let him go. He's good. In fact, other witnesses say, yeah, he was just having lunch in the lunchroom, like at 12:25. So at 12:31 or 2, he's on the 1st floor talking to a cop calmly. And at 12:20 and 25, he's seen eating lunch. How at 12:30 is he 6 floors up on the other side of the building, shooting a president in the head? It's just, you don't have a witness. No. Now, there's witnesses that, like, after they see him on TV, like, yeah, that's the guy I saw in the window. Like, bullshit. There's people in all the windows. But there were witnesses that had some good testimony that the Warren Commission left out. And they would say, I happen to be drawn to that window, and this is like more than a handful. And considering there was not thousands in Dealey Plaza, I forget what the number is. It's like 100, maybe 200. It wasn't a lot. It's pretty sporadic because it was the end of the route. And if it was Oswald, there's a better place from that window. When I'm going to put up a picture, he could have turned his gun and just took a direct shot, killed Kenny. I don't have to. Now he's got a car driving away from him at 11 miles an hour. So somebody fired a shot there. But some of these witnesses say, yeah, there was a dark complexion man and then like a light complexion man. And multiple witnesses, like, I thought there was a gun and I kept being drawn to it, but they didn't know somebody's going to be shot, right? And so they're corroborating now that there's a couple of people up there. Well, that can be like a long nut theory. Okay. So Oswald probably had something to do with it, or because of his movements around and whoever, somebody's handling him to do something. Maybe it wasn't to kill the president, or maybe it's to be the fall guy. And that's what he says. I mean, we're not necessarily going to believe him. So he either knows, like, oh shit, president's dead, there's cops here. Like, I knew about some other shit going on, or maybe I had a small part in it. I was supposed to bring a weapon somewhere. Like, but I didn't shoot it. He leaves, he gets on a bus. He's like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. And everybody's leaving. Now they're closing down, but he leaves. He leaves fast. Now, so he's making the movements of a guilty man, or maybe he's like, I'm fucked. Like, this is not gonna look well for me. Knowing my history, my dossier, where I come, the rush, like, you know yourself. And who knows? And maybe he did have part of it. So he's like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. So he's on the bus. There's so much traffic because of the commotion in downtown Dallas. He quickly gets off the bus, and he's put on that bus because there's multiple witnesses, including like an old landlord. Like, yeah, he was on the bus. He got off. Okay. And then he tries to take a taxi, and he's trying to get to his rooming house. And now we don't know what happened because he's dead. We don't have a trial for him, right? But witnesses can't put him there. Can't corroborate anybody saw him there. All right. So the police go in, they look around. And, it takes them a while to look around. At the same time, Lee Harvey Oswald's going to his house. But no one reported him. Like, nobody knows he's sure. The cop, that's it. Everybody's leaving. He's keep going. So, like, no one knows. There's not one thing to think. Like, maybe the FBI guy, like, oh, shit, I showed that file. But they didn't have, like, there's not a cell phone. Like, things are happening quick. So I think he's home. I don't know if it's like 15 minutes. So, I don't even give a shit. It's pretty quick. But he goes home. And I think he like scouts out his house. Like, so he's definitely paranoid, according to witness testimony, but maybe it's not even him. So he reportedly grabs his wallet and a revolver, right? Which is common, like, like if he was a military guy or he was the IRA, he's like, or he's scared, he's gonna have his revolver. And at that time period in Texas, even today, anybody can have a revolver anywhere. So he's got a gun, but we don't even know if he did do this. Like, this is what they say he did, and we can't ask him, right? And then there's some sketchy evidence. So then he goes past his house, and he's moving around, and there's a cop kind of looking for him, and they're in the neighborhood, and like nobody knew yet. I don't think the gun had even been recovered yet. They're looking around, trying to figure out. People are going up, and we're gonna get to it. Let's focus on Oswald, because you start jumping around, it gets confusing. I get confusing. So there's a cop, and now multiple witnesses are like, yeah, there's this dude talking to the cop, and the cop gets out of the car, and like the dude shoots him dead. What? Yeah, dude shoots him dead. And then, like, out of the witnesses, multiple of them were like, well, no, it wasn't a dude. It was two dudes talking to the cop. They looked like they knew each other. But why was the cop looking for Lee Harvey Oswald? It's weird, okay? Still not the weirdest thing. We're going to get there. So he's dead. So maybe Oswald did it, right? And we're going to see where the evidence lines up. So Oswald goes to a movie theater. Okay, sure. Why not a movie theater? And the witness is a matinee in the middle of a work day. There's people in the theater. I don't know what the movie was. That'd probably be a fun fact. I'm curious what it was. So I'm sure tons of researchers do. It's probably like a fun quibbit. Like, oh, it was Gone with the Wind. So he goes in the theater, and the witnesses say, like, yeah, this guy walks in. They say he didn't pay to get in. So somebody called the cops because he didn't pay to get in. What? Like, are you going to call the cops because some young 20 something snuck in a movie theater? I think maybe. I don't know. He sits down right next to someone, and witness said they're talking to him, and that person's like, I don't know what he said, and he gets up and goes sits next to someone else. It's almost like he's looking for is my handler in here or something. Who knows? Like, this is conspiracy, but it's what he did. And then a shitload of cops roll into the theater looking for Lee Harvey Oswald, who still there's not a lot of time has gone by here. I think like 30 minutes or so. And we're not talking like modern day text, internet, where they're still confused what's going on. Everybody's focused on the president. And, but a cop died. Someone calls it in. And so now they believe the guy that shot the cop matched Oswald's description. So they're not there to arrest him for the president. But the cop was looking for him. What was he looking for him for? Like, nobody knew he did the president. So he pulls out his gun, the cops say, and the cop like grabbed his gun and was like, that gun wasn't even like working condition. He believed the cop, that's what he said in his report. And they punch Oswald in the face and they arrest him. They take him to the police station for the killing of Officer Tibbetts. Okay. So Oswald's in jail. Like, we need to talk to this guy. This is very important. Dallas has him in jail for 48 hours, 2 days. Yeah, the FBI comes in, people are questioning him. But like, I know it's 1963, but if he's even suspected, which he was now at this point, killing the president, because they knew he worked there and all that, this starts to get together. But no one recorded any of 12 hours of interrogation with this man. So now you're getting secondhand stuff from like the FBI, the cops, like, yeah, he said he didn't do it. But like, record it. You killed the president. It's like, first of all, it's history. It's important. There's going to be a murder trial. So it's weird. And then they parade him in like front of the media. And the media's like downstairs. You got to have a press pass. And they let him start asking Oswald questions. He's like, I didn't kill the president. It's like, do you know you've been arrested for it? He's like, no, nobody told me that. Like, well, you are. And his face is like, what? And then there's a guy in the back. And they're like, a reporter's like, hey, are you support fair? What's that group in New Orleans? And the camera goes to the back row. And a guy goes, you're talking fair play for Cuba. And it's a man with glasses. And that's Jack Ruby. And he'll turn out to be a pretty poor man. So he's in there in a press conference answering a question. Like, what's he doing? He's not press. Jack Ruby owns a bar. Or like a burlesque kind of nightclub in downtown Dallas, right? So the next day, the police are parading him out to the media again. And somehow this guy, Jack Ruby, is in the police station. Oswald's in cuffs. They ask, did you kill the president? He goes, I didn't do it. I'm just a patsy, meaning I'm a fall guy. Something happened, right? And we won't know because we can't ask him because Jack Ruby gets to go right up to him and shoots him, like from point blank range. And what Lee Harvey Oswald is, because he doesn't have his hand free, he can't defend himself, he turns. And if he didn't turn, doctors say he probably would have survived. It would have went right through him. Because it turned, it went in, stayed, slow bleed. He bleeded out. He didn't stand a chance. They bring him to Parkland Hospital, this same trauma unit where the president was declared dead just 2 days before. So Lee Harvey Oswald's dead. And that's who the Warren Commission pins this on. So what's the evidence? If people can't pinpoint him there, what else we got? Well, the FBI recovered a Kirkconnell rifle. They said it looks a lot like the rifle that Oswald ordered to his P.O. box under the name Alex Heidel. Okay, earlier in the year. Okay, well, all right, we can take your word for it. We can't ask him. Are his fingerprints on it? No, there's no fingerprints on it. Well, we gave him a paraffin test too. When you shoot a rifle, it leaves a trace of paraffin. There's no paraffin on it. But there was some on his hands. But when he was eating lunch, he was also reading a newspaper. And paraffin comes off the newspaper. He didn't know that. Guess what? I don't even know what the fuck paraffin was until I started doing this research. I sound like I did, right? Oh, I got paraffin jokes for days. But maybe he did kill Tiv. I don't know. I don't know. So he doesn't have prints on it. That's weird. So they take the casings and goes over to the Dallas police. Okay. Then the Dallas police finally are like, hey, wait a second. Oh, yep. We got a faint palm print of Oswald on this rifle. Like, what? No, you don't. The FBI, that's what they do. There's no prints of Oswald on this rifle. Oh, no, we got a little bit. We got it. Oh, after you had him in custody and he was arrested. Yeah, we got it. Okay, can you tell us where that rifle went? Well, that's going to be tricky. And then the FBI didn't get that. So we got some jurisdiction of the weapon issues, the chain of custody, right? Okay, not admissible in court. Like, that's not going to convict Lee Harvey Oswald. Even if the rifle's in his name, it's just not going to do it, right? Because that's it. Okay, we can't have palm prints later after it already was handled by a bunch of people. It just doesn't work. And it wasn't even like palm prints on, it was like on like under the base faintly, maybe, because back then the way they did prints aren't today. Like if you ever see it's technology, you're not getting it wrong. Back then, like somebody looks at it like, okay, he's got 8 points that match this, but there's like 100 points. So maybe conspiracy. Now, it's easy. You see what I'm saying though? At every corner, there's something just a little bit not right. But if at every corner something's a little bit not right, then something's not right. We're going to pause. Actually, let's finish Lee Harvey Oswald. Okay, let's do that. So now shit gets super weird. The president's killed on November 22nd. On November 20th, a hitchhiker gets picked up by this man with the last name of Yates, Ralph Yates. Poor guy. Poor guy's life would change forever. Picks up a hitchhiker. They're disagreeing politically. They're talking about like politics and communism. And the guy he picks up is like talking about assassinating the president, and he do a building. He's talking about how he assassinated the president. This Yates dude was like, whoa, and he drops the hitchhiker off, and the hitchhiker had like a big brown bag that looked like it had clothing rods in it, which probably looked like a gun, because somebody tried to describe that bag that Oswald brought to work, which more witnesses say, no, we saw him walking to work that they didn't have that. This was 2 days before. No one knew. This electrician guy didn't know anything. You know what he did that day that he picked up that hitchhiker? He's like, hey, he went to the FBI office in Dallas. He went to the FBI, the office of people that, remember I said they had a file on Oswald just because he made weird movements and they were tracking him? They went to the office 2 days before the president was killed on a guy they had a file on a guy there was a 180-page dossier sitting on the desk of one of the head of the FBI in Dallas. Nothing ever happened. That's sitting there during the assassination. Dropping the ball there, or were they? Yates is like, yeah. They're like, what was his name? Like, he said his name was Lee Harvey Oswald. And this is 2 days before. Nobody knows who Lee Harvey Oswald is until he's on the newspaper for killing the president. So that's crazy. They dismiss this guy. Like, nope. They don't do anything about it. 2 days before the president shot. This is a fact. This is not fiction. This is a report. It's crazy. That's fucking nuts. Now, you see what I'm saying? It gets weirder. So Yates, like finally when there's the assassination and it's like Lee Harvey, like I told you, I've never knew a guy, Lee Harvey Oswald, I'm just an electrician picking up a hitchhiker. He starts making a stink and getting loud because he's like, why didn't you listen to me? Yates will spend the rest of his life committed. And you could do that back then. You can't do that today because like they're all like breweries and shit. Into like an insane asylum, involuntary. Like that's just something to chew on. Like what? And he will not be the only one that puts his days out in the insane asylum, right? So that's nuts. Then there's another report at a gun range of a Lee Harvey Oswald taking firearm practice, talking communism smack. But you know why that wasn't Lee Harvey Oswald in Yates's car that he picked up as a hitchhiker? Or it wasn't him at the gun range? Because Lee Harvey Oswald worked at the Texas School Depository for 4 weeks. And in that time, he had perfect attendance. Never missed a day at work. So he couldn't be the guy in the car or at the gun range during work because it was during work hours. Not a thing. Well, that's real weird. Now we're getting real weird. We're getting to really, really, real weird. So this is weird now. Now it's like, is somebody pretending to be Lee Harvey Oswald? Like, why? And now people and reporters looking up like, yeah, look at this guy. He got arrested. Like he's got a headline, pro or like the Cuban supporter arrested in a fight in New Orleans. You remember I said he shouldn't have been arrested. I was like a skirmish, but it's the front page, the city. No. So now people are looking back and like, oh, look, he moved to Russia. Like, and now it's like, oh, is he a Russian asset killing our president? Oh, I hope not. We'd have to go to nuclear war if Russia killed our president. Or was he pro-Cuba, anti-Cuba? It's confusing because he's on both sides. Why is all this shit happening? If I had a file on him, like he was being set up for something. I don't truly believe in the game. He was being set up to murder the president. I just think during the Cold War, military intelligence guys, CIA, whatever, they were just imaged and prepped and handled for certain situations. And this one, I don't know if it happened to work out hey, I just happened to get a job the month before the Secret Service. This is what I'm saying. Conspiracy like haven. Like you can argue this any way. I'm just putting it out there. Why? I don't believe he killed him. Because, and more importantly, because he wouldn't be convicted, I don't believe, at trial. I'm not a lawyer, so who cares if I don't believe? But this is not even it. Not even it. So as we're researching, who's this Oswald guy? Look at his procurator, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, like, I think it's a month or two before that, Lee Harvey Oswald's in Mexico. What? How do you get to Mexico? He's at the Cuban embassy because he wants to defect to Russia. Oh, shit. Well, that's weird. Then why do you get a job? Like, well, it's weird. He's having kids. Like, what? He is? He's in Mexico? And then the FBI's like, yeah, and Hoover's on record, like, that wasn't Lee Harvey Oswald. Like, oh, so there's a guy with the name Lee Harvey Oswald that has all the same, like, another passport of Lee Harvey Oswald, like, in Mexico trying to defect? Yeah, and the CIA, they're like, okay, but because it's a Cuban embassy and the Russian embassy and we're ties with Mexico, it's the Cold War. We film, right? We have video cameras back in 1960, which we did, and they do, or whatever they were. I don't know their video. Yeah, because we have TV. I'm dumb sometimes. They stay, in fact, yes, they're outside each embassy. We're watching everybody coming in and out. We're also recording. Oh, this is awesome. Grab us that video footage. Oh, no, actually that day we weren't recording that he was there. What? Fuck, man. This is so, I'm like getting a headache. Okay. Did you get the audio? Oh yeah, we got audio though of one of them. But you're saying the video is out both of them? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's weird. Was it working yesterday? Yeah. Working today? Oh yeah. It was just a test. Oh, okay. Coincidence. Well, let's hear that audio. Hoover on record. Other people. Let's hear it. Oh, that's not Lee Harvey Oswald. Well, who the fuck is it? And you know why it's not? Because he's cooperated to be in America at the time, somebody's pretending to be him at the embassies. So somebody's pretending to be him 2 days before, posing as a hitchhiker, talking about killing the president at a gun range, taking long rifle shots, and now at an embassy looking to defect Cuba via Russia. Who's doing this and why? And now this is where people are like, conspiracy. No, it's not. This is there. And all those document dumps over the years, they didn't let them all out, but they let some of them out. And a lot of this information is available for you at the National Archives. Go to Mary Farrell Foundation. It'll help make it easier. But this stuff is just, what? Okay, in this case, you don't think it get any weirder? It's going to get weirder. So now, if I'm the defense trying, okay, forget all that weapon. Yeah, okay. Now there's fingerprints, maybe. No, chain of custody out. All right. So Oswald's got somebody impersonating him. And it turns out, I'm not going to go out. There's other situations where it is too. So that gives you a good frame of why were people doing this to Lee Harvey Oswald. We're going to come back to that. But we need some more evidence, right? Okay, so maybe it was his rifle, maybe it was his palm print, but he wasn't there to shoot it. So maybe his job was to bring it in, but maybe it wasn't at all. Oh, and when Officer Tibbetts at the scene, you know what they found at the scene of the dead cop? Lee Harvey Oswald's wallet. What? No, they didn't. Because you can go look in the records, and this, you don't have to be a depth researcher. When he was arrested at the theater, went in the police station, they emptied his pockets, you can read the list of things he had. His, all his government stuff and Cuba stuff and his wallet. So his wallet was on him, but his wallet was also at seeing the cop, because that's a dunk, right? Slam dunk. Okay, he killed this guy. Yeah. So now send everybody to go get him. This stuff is crazy, man. They're not you guys keep going. If you didn't know before, and this is one of your first doses, now you know why there's so many conspiracy theories of this shit. It's nuts. All right, so let's get even nuttier. Now, that's Oswald. Let's put him to the side. Let's go to Dealey Plaza, where the president was shot, and the 100 or so people they talked to around there. Wait till you hear the shit that's going on here. Wait till you hear this shit. All right, the first thing is, what the Warren report and whoever had something to do with this didn't account for is this guy, Abraham Zapruder, who had a dress shop or some shit. He actually was like, oh, the president's coming. I'm going to go home and get my camera out. We're old school. He's standing there. His his co-worker, secretary's holding him because he's standing out with something. Here comes the president. Yeah! He's filming it. This guy would have one of the most famous films in American history because he gets the money shots, all of them. And how come we didn't know as Americans? They knew that. Why would you cover that up? Why would you let us see that? They try to keep that down. Okay, that's weird. Put it on a pile of weird. 1963, the president's killed. That Zapruder film isn't shown to Americans until 1975. What? 12 years later, people are like, wait, boy, we could have used this. This would have really made a lot of sense. And you can see, here you go, take a look. Frame 313, this shot of the president. Boom, headshot, back and to the left. That's the kill shot. Boom, brains, back and to the left. Blood, side of the head. You can see it. It's not fucking Hollywood. It's right there. Are you watching this? I love people are like, no, Oswald, that. I'm like, are you fucking watching this? Hello. And that made something else happen, which is good for America. And for some reason, it doesn't get the same clout as the Warren Commission, but it's the latest report. And we're going to talk about that. So now the president shot, the governor's in the front seat, bullets hit him, he's hurt. So we did Oswald. So now let's go back to when the president shot. They race out of there. They get in the hospital. News is there. Everybody's going crazy. Now there's doctors. They're coming in. There's doctors over his head. They're standing there. They're looking at him. They're trying to save his life because he's got some sort of pulse. But I've listened to 4 of these doctors interview. They're all he was dead. This was just I can't say the word posthumous. I don't know. They want to do it for Jackie. And they knew as the president, this guy's dead. He had no brain. What do you mean he's got no brain? Yeah, like I could fit my hand in a hole in the back of his head and his brain wasn't there. Oh, 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 why? Well, because a bullet went through his head, came from the front and blew out the back of his head. Well, what? But he also had a bullet in the back that came out like the necktie because we saw him do this and he did. And that bullet came out of Kennedy, went over the front seat into Connolly, through some of his body parts, out a body part, down another body part, boom, he's injured. Whoa, it's a crazy bullet. Magical. They call it the magic bullet. Wow, I'd like to see that bullet. That bullet probably looks like it's been through hell. Yeah, well, later on, they'll find that bullet remarkably just laying on a stretcher after everybody's gone. Oh, I got a bullet. This must be the magic bullet. Let's put this in. Now we can account for 3 shots. And doctors come out, they interview him. Yeah, it's like the president looks like he got shot in the back and he got through the head, blew his head out. His brain was missing, the cerebellum, which is the brain's oozing out. It's gone. We saw Jackie when you watch the Zapruder film, like you see, she's reaching. It's sad. Like she knows what to do. Her husband's head's blowing off. She's probably like, I hope somebody blows her head off for all that cheating. You don't know. Whatever. Listen, shit happened. Like this is serious stuff. And she reacted that way. It's trauma, like no one knows what they're going to do. But brain's oozing out. It's not there. It's missing, like big chunk. Like, okay. Now, Secret Service comes in. They're like, we're taking the body. The doctor's like, oh, no, you can't take the body. Because back then, the law, this is a murder investigation. Even though it's the president, it happened in Texas. We have to examine this body because there's going to be a murder trial. Oswald getting killed. Yeah, we're taking the body. Jackie, his wife's not leaving here, and we're not going to make her sit here. Maybe that's why. Okay, so there's arguing. Like, there's reporters watching. Like, you're not taking the body. In fact, this is Dallas. Like, we deal with shootings all the time in autopsies. In fact, one of the nation's top autopsy experts for shootings is right here. As a matter of fact, he's coming in. Nope, we're taking the body. You're not taking the body. Secret Service is like, fuck you, get out of the way, we're taking the body. So it's great. They take the president. They send somebody out there like, go get a coffin. The best coffin you can get. They put him in coffin. Put him on the plane. LBJ becomes the vice president. They decide to fly into Bethesda Naval Hospital. There's coroners, there's people transporting him. People put him in the coffin. Doctors are standing over him. A lot of these people would change their story. What they saw. No cerebellum, the brain, hole in the head. And maybe I didn't see a hole in the back of the head. You're a doctor. It's what you do. It's what you said. You saw it. And why would they change their story? And they would come out later and say they told us, like, there's no hole in the back of the head. There's no hole in the back of the head. Okay, all right, there's no hole in the back of the head. I might have been mistaken. And one of the doctors that did that, finally, like, I don't know, it was late 70s, early 80s with coworker, just sat down one night, and the coworker's like, dude, what was up with JFK? Is like, dude's head was blown out. I couldn't say anything. I don't know, it was just weird, like, I was scared, And then what would happen, to add to the weirdness, is we'll keep going. It's just there's so much. You see what I mean? It's just a lot of stuff. I should have done this in like 10 episodes, but I'm gonna try to fly through. So they get to Bethesda. They do their own. I'm talking so much, going so long. I'm like dry all over. My allergies. The guys open up the casket corner, taking pictures. The Warren report would say he was shot in the back, went through his neck, bullet went out into Connolly. Hit him in the wrist, the leg, like I'm not a doctor. That's impossible. It's just fucking impossible. And that bullet they found, pristine. You're gonna go through bones and bodies and multiple things and come out and like just look like a bullet out of the box? No. I'm not a forensic specialist, but it's weird. I'm as a human, like this seems weird, but maybe that's how it works. I don't think so. Cerebellum's got no brain. But when he gets to Bethesda and they're taking photos for the official autopsy, shit's different than it was in Dallas. Now we're getting weird. Oh, wait, what? The president? Like, he's not wearing the same clothes. Okay, maybe they dress him up. No. He's got like a big fucking chunk of hair and flap over he didn't have. The guys, oh my God, like, I didn't see this. They start taking pictures. They start taking cameras, Secret Services in there. There's weird guys, military, taking cameras away from the people. The official report will show a bullet hole right on the top of the head, like a circle hole. You can see it. Go look at the report. That wasn't there. That's not what was there. There's no hole in the back of the head. Well, where's his brain? Oh, his brain's right here. Yeah, hey. Well, but he didn't have brain. It was blown to bits. Like, this is real stuff. This is not, and you want to see something. There's something called JFK, like the medical report just came out. It's so good. It talks to the doctors. It looks at documents. It just shows everything as it is, not conspiracy. Like, look, you decide. And so if you're going to decide here, the body was illegally transferred in a mad rush, and I hate to say it's the president's body, by the government autopsy people, fucked with his body to make it fit the narrative that Lee Harvey Oswald shot them. Why? That's a cover-up. Well, why is it cover-up? And that won't be the only cover-up. There's a lot of covering up. All the Oswald bullshit with the wallet and why he wasn't in Mexico. Like, there's so many things, and there's just so many different rabbit holes to go down. But whoa. And the Kennedy family keeps quiet about this. But you know what the first call Bobby Kennedy did when his brother got shot? He called the CIA. Said, did you do this to my brother? Why did the CIA do this, bro? You know, they hated him. Yeah, you didn't kill him. Well, he self-armed Russia. Yeah, they shouldn't be in power. Okay, well, maybe it wasn't CIA. Maybe it was like some rogue people. Maybe. So this just gets weird. It's a debate. It's an argument. People start changing their story. But now I'm Oswald's lawyer again. Yeah, this body, even though it's president, this ain't coming in the courtroom. This is bullshit. Yeah, the judge, you're right. Chain of custody, weird stuff happening. Witnesses say one thing, body's out, guns out, guns out. Now the gun's out, the body's out. No one can put him in the window. So you don't have to be a conspiracy theorist and you don't have to agree with me. I'm not like, you agree with me, you do what I say. I'm just saying, Lee Harvey Oswald didn't kill the president. I can say that with confidence. I mean, I've been in this research and there's so much more. Did he have a part in it? Maybe. But now let's get to Dealey Plaza. I almost went there before. It's like 100 people or so down there. What the fuck's going on down there? Can it get weirder? Can this get weirder? Yes, it can. Right? You watch the Zapruder film, it gives us so many things. If we didn't see the Zapruder film, there'd be no conspiracy theories. Probably would have listened to the Warren Report. But like, wait a second. When he's killed, he's shot from the front. Like, I don't give a shit. You be a 4-year-old and 9-year-old, he's shot in the head. And there's probably other bullets because Connolly's got bullet rattled all over him. And matter of fact, this shit's weird at every corner. The limousine convertible they were in when it was at the hospital, there's press everywhere, all that. This dude goes over the limo and he's putting his pencil through the windshield. And he writes, he's like, yo, there's a fucking bullet hole in the windshield. Where'd that bullet come from? And that's in front. Like, come up here. And the drawings of Kennedy's autopsy, they actually, they drew back then, like, here's the bullet hole, it's consistent. They literally raise where they said the bullet entered so it can make the trajectory. But the hole in his back, you can see on the official autopsy photos they fucked up, is actually lower. What? There's just so much. I get so excited. It's crazy. I can't believe I hold all this stuff in my little brain that I feel like it's blown out a long time ago. So we're back in Dealey Plaza. I got to focus. I got to stay there. I'm sorry. I just jump all over the place. This stuff just blows my mind. And I'm doing recall. So as it comes up, it's like, oh shit. Yeah, that is exciting. So right in the Zapruder film comes by right at the moment shot. Like, you see a man in a black coat and like a black umbrella, and he's opening and closing the umbrella. Like, what the fuck is that? The fuck is, like, right, what? Is that a signal? Or is it not raining? Now, they would say that they found this man, who the fuck is, I don't believe they anymore after all the shit we're talking about. And he said, oh, no. Like, I'm so-and-so, I'm an insurance agent. I was actually protesting Kennedy's dad, Joe, way back in the day when Never Chamberlain in England did something I didn't like. And it was a protest, the umbrella. What? That doesn't make sense. But we don't know who this guy is. We don't even know if that insurance guy was the guy because nobody's ever been able to prove that. So that's weird, but no evidence for anything else. But next to him is another guy at the time of the shooting because I don't think they knew they were being filmed. Like, there's people taking, he's got his arm up. Like, what? Who's he got his arm up for? He's like a dark complex guy. Why you got an arm up? Okay, and it reaches down. He's got like a walkie-talkie. Maybe or something goes up to his mouth and it goes in his back, and he talks to the guy in the black umbrella. Maybe they're just like, hey, the president got shot. Black dude, old English. Yeah, the president got shot. I would talk to the people next to me. And they just walk away. Never be heard from. Nobody knows who those twos are. They're gone. So, and then at the moment of the shooting, yes, somebody saw something from the book depository. There's no question. Something came from the back. It might not have hit anybody. One bounced off the road, ricocheted up a poor innocent bystander. You could see where it like chipped the pavement. He was bleeding. So, okay. But if they said they only found 3 shells from Lee Harvey Oswald's gun, they can only have 3 shots because it had to come from the back. They already had this. This was already like mapped out. Weird shit. All right, so let's go to some of the witnesses in Dealey Plaza. So I'm going to put this up here. There's a fence, right? The motorcade's coming down this way. There's a fence over there that up on what's called the grassy knoll. Ooh, up in the grassy knoll. And multiple witnesses say they saw a commotion, flash of light, and think they heard gunshots, and people heard 4 gunshots, 3, 5, and it's an echoey place, so we can say, oh, we don't know what we heard. And one gunshot was 1 speed, and the other gunshots were like boom, boom, and a bolt action rifle. And I don't even like guns. It's not boom, boom. You got to reload it. And he only had like 5.8 seconds to shoot it. And throughout the years, people have performed tests, and yeah, sure, they passed some of the tests, but not under the pressure of the actual day of killing the president, right? And getting out innocent. So it's still going to get crazier. So now other cops run up the hill to the grassy knoll. And so when the president gets out of there, all the Secret Service, they're pulling out guns, they're looking, they all get out of there. There's no Secret Service left in what's called Dealey Plaza, where the grassy knoll, the park, the book depository, and people are just laying around. Guy, you can see in the Zapruder film, he jumps down, covers his little boy, the wife, and little girl. This family's like, yeah, bullet came whizzing over us. Couldn't whiz over you. Would have had to come from the front if it whizzed over you. Years later, I'm not sure where it came from. I think maybe it came from over there. Why are you changing your story? Okay. Cop runs up the hill. Other people run up the hill. They see flash of light, commotion coming from the tree behind the fence on the grassy knoll. Like, this is conspiracy. This is like, you can look at pictures online, like, look, you can see a man with a hard hat and an angel. Like, you can't. It's bullshit. They have a picture from a woman, Mary Mormon. She took the picture and, like, it's black and white. You can digitize it, colorize it. You can't see anything except for all the people in the plaza, the umbrella man, all those things. So now they're asking all these people. And a lot of these people never go to the Warren Commission. And some people, as they ran up the hill, they were stopped. They were stopped by who? Secret Service. Oh, wait, but Secret Service, they're gone. And it was confirmed by the police. Everybody's Secret Service gone. No, there's no Secret Service there. But a guy who had a Secret Service badge, he was at the top of the hill in the grassy knoll. He even told the cop. The cop saw it. And the cop was like, yeah, he looked official. I said, he's got it under control. I left. What? Okay. Well, who is he? Oh, I have no idea. He's on name reports. We don't know who he is. Okay. Well, probably not Secret Service. Probably something else, I would say. Okay. Well, now there's a lot of stuff. And there's this where conspiracies, there's bums, there's all this. But this guy, Lee Bowers, there's a railroad tracks behind this fence, like the road's here, there's a fence, but in the back, he's just sitting in the tower, like watching the day. It's like, what the fuck is that on the fence? There's like dudes there. Like, he sees shots. Like, come on. Like, he's like, yeah. And he tells his story. He tells it. And he ends up dead driving off the road in a single car. I can't win this shit. So this is another thing. You can look up how many witnesses before testifying or that may have said too much and didn't get locked up in a mental institution, locked up, like multiple people. Like that guy, you lock them up because they say they saw something. Like, these are facts. It's not conspiracy, man. And I don't know if Lee Bowers, maybe he's drunk, maybe he just drove off the road. But there's like a whole list of people that died. Like, one of the mob guys, he was supposed to testify, and they were tied to that group I talked about earlier. They found him floating, chopped up the day before he was supposed to testify out in the ocean. I'm like, yeah, what? So anyways, but if you take, now there's some anti-conspiracy theory people, like, listen, if you take 100 dead witnesses from the population versus just 100 dead people from this section of the public, the percentages are going to be the same. It just sounds more fun and weird when you think it's a conspiracy. Oh, that's a fair argument. I'm not even going to dispute that. But when you go look at some of these deaths and the timing of them, you're not considering that, buddy. And the timing of it is what opens up a conspiracy, and maybe not. But as with this whole thing, What the fuck? It's weird. It doesn't make sense. Something's not right. And there's a lot of shit that's not right. Okay? Like there's a lot of stuff. So lots of witnesses in the plaza. The Warren Commission didn't give a shit about any of them. So I implore you to go do a lot of your own research. But this is what's happening. So now I'm only going to go a few more minutes here. I'm going to button this up quick, I think. I've been running on because more things just pop. I just have recall with this stuff. Except for when I need it right now. I forgot I was going to go. Oh, so in 1976, because the Zapruder film came out and changed everything. Like, wait a second. Were they lying to us? Like, why was there a cover up? Why did our government cover this? That's the president of the United States. No matter what happened, even if it was Oswald, no matter who did what, the cover up is significant and factual and available. So now you wonder why. Now you ask the question, why did they seal all the documents related to this? Why are they all not released? Well, listen to what I'm telling you from the stuff we know. Imagine the stuff we don't know. And listen, nobody's writing down the smoking gun, so that will never be there. But there's things we're seeing like, whoa, what the fuck? Okay. So then it comes down to, okay, who killed Kennedy? Who had the motive? We talked a long time today. Right? We started off just the partying guy with fiddle faddle, getting his shots of methamphetamine. Next thing we know, we've got a deep state cover-up conspiracy, but it doesn't mean that they did it. There's some fair arguments like, yeah, well, we couldn't, Lee Harvey Oswald loves Russia. What if we can't let people think Russia did it? We have to go to nuclear war. Okay, bullshit. No. And honestly, here's something. We'll start with this. Who had the motive? You know who didn't have the motive? Lee Harvey Oswald. You know why? He didn't even hate Kennedy. He actually liked some of his policies. He wasn't crazy about the fair play with Cuba, but Lee Harvey Oswald wasn't actually into that shit. He was just bullshitting, playing both sides of the card. So he didn't like him. Marina, his wife, they liked him. He thought he was nice and agreed with everything. And he's like, why would you kill him? Like, you're just going to get another guy just like him with the same policies. Okay, well, what was Oswald's motivation? Did the Warren Report tell us? Hey, let's go in the Warren Report. Oh, they don't even say what motivated. They said lone gun nut. Lone nut. Like a school shooter. Those are lone nuts. And actually, here's a good example. In the recent president election, right? Remember Trump, like some shot, killed the guy behind him, hit him in the ear from very close. Conspiracies about. It's the deep state. They try to kill him. It's the Democrats. It's like this cabal of evil people, No, it wasn't. You know why? Because it wasn't organized and professional. Because in the Trump, you got a big, giant, orange, fat guy standing still and a very short shot. You're going to kill him. There you have a lone gun nut. Like a school shooter, some kid who, I don't know what his motivations are, but he couldn't even hit a big, fat target standing still. We're talking about a car moving at 11 miles an hour, hitting multiple people from multiple angles, covering up evidence. That's a conspiracy, right? Like a conspiracy not in the sense like, oh, we're going to go to the moon. A conspiracy in the sense like it wasn't a lone nut. There was many people involved. So who was it? Lee Harvey Oswald, off the table. He doesn't even have the motivation. Doesn't hate Kennedy like this. Like nobody asked that in 1960. He doesn't hate Kennedy. He vote for him? I don't know. Probably not. He probably look at vote. Didn't even pull the voter records. He probably didn't. But he doesn't hate Kennedy. And he was a military guy, so. All right. So let's throw Oswald out. You can tell me, fuck off, Oswald did, or you talk about, but you show me the evidence. What about the mob? Well, when the mob wants to kill somebody, we heard them say it themselves. We've seen it all in the movie. What do? Boom, 2 shots in the head, broad daylight, in front of everybody, right? Well, boom, that's how Kennedy died. But why would the mob want to kill him? Oh, because they wanted to basically arrest them all. They deported some guy to the jungle that was actually helping the Cuban exiles. And they had such hubris, and they didn't like that Bobby Kennedy was the attorney general. Well, why not kill Bobby Kennedy then? Like, because if you kill Bobby Kennedy, JFK is going to come after you more. You got to cut the head off of the snake. Okay, that's a fair point. That's something the mob would do. They don't fuck around, right? Business, man. So, here's sleeping with Giancana's girl. I don't know. Oh, the CIA met with the mob to orchestrate the assassination of Castro and other world leaders. And then they also had a plan called Operation Northwoods. Oh, I'm going deep. Oh, don't let me go. Operation Northwoods, I can't say it, was creating basically a false flag, right? And back then, it was a big deal. It was like, we're going to do a major event. Something's going to be bad, but it's going to motivate the American people so we can go to war with Cuba. That's the military-industrial complex did. Okay. So the mob, maybe, I don't know, but the mob was working with the CIA. And they were also working with the Cuban exiles. So now, sometimes when I first look at this stuff, I'm like, well, they all did it. There was one of each person. They have a big meeting. I don't know. Right? So the mob certainly had motivation to do it. And it was certainly hit in style of the mob, right? Open shots to the head. They could have done it anywhere. And if you wanted to kill Kennedy and you didn't want to be a big deal, you knew he was going to be sleeping with a million women. Why don't you just fucking have one of them poison him? Like, like you didn't have to do it so dramatic. So that says something for the mob. I'm not going either way on it. Maybe. And some mob guys, you can watch them now, like, oh yeah, we know who killed Kennedy. Yeah, man, Joey Bones did it. No, and they make some fair arguments, but you can make fair argument anywhere here. That's why this is just so weird. Russia. No, I told you earlier. Khrushchev's son wrote in his memoir, my dad cried when Kennedy died. Didn't mean they weren't adversaries, but Kennedy was trying to make peace. They both wanted the end of the Cold War. They, even though it's communism, the people, man, economics, we're children of the world. We're enemies in the space race and a little bit different political beliefs, but Kennedy wanted peace. I don't think Russia. I throw Russia off before I throw Oswald off. Plus, they're not stupid. Like, if Russia did it, they would annihilate it. Like, we'd have to blow them up. You kill our president, bye-bye. Okay, so I'll throw Russia out. I'll throw Oswald out. I'll put the mob on a maybe. Associated, I'm going to put in a likely? I don't know. But then this is where I lean, and this, I know it's conspiracy, and I don't know. But this is the things you think about. It's not a lone nut. You know why? Just think of all the things we talked about that happened. Mexico Oswald, the fake Oswald running around the world for 2 years looking like he's one thing than the other and getting in the newspaper being arrested when it wasn't really a big fight. People pretending to be him. The FBI having his file, not going. CIA kind of staying quiet when he came back from Russia. Like, when you want to talk to this guy? Staying in nice hotels when he goes there. So there's a lot of things to be like, well, he's tied to an organization. So Oswald could have been involved with this. He could very well. Or he actually could have been the entire time the person to take the fall. So it would never come back to a very organized group. Because to kill the president and to have this cover up and to have all these moving parts, you have to be an organization that's power, resources, control. Oh, I don't say that, Sean. CIA? Oh. I know a lot of people say that. But do I think the CIA was like, hey, we're going to kill King. Put his paper, go. No. I think Dulles might have known something. I always liked the George Bush thing, Senior. He was a CIA guy, and he's fucking culpable in so much shit that I think we're going to find out later on in life. There's rumors that he was there, and this is conspiracy. And they asked him, where were you when Kennedy was killed? I said, I can't remember. What kind of fucking American doesn't know where they were when the president was killed? I knew where I was when the NASA Christopher McAuliffe blew up, and it wasn't even and it was tragic. But it's the president of the United States blown off broad daylight. So there's weird shit like that. There's 3 tramps, and one of the guys on his deathbed is the guy that orchestrated the Watergate break-in, CIA guy, Hunt, and his son is like, my dad was there. Another guy in his deathbed. And see, people are. They're like, why don't they tell you before they die? There's tons of people doing it. We don't know if it's real or people want attention, but they're dying. Another guy's like, listen, my job was to bring in ammunition. I was working actually with Giancana and the mob, and we were creating, like, they had like ammunitions, weapons, different things, and they had to leave a car behind the fence. And this guy might be making it up, but he was a CIA guy. And Hunt was a CIA guy. Like, and then the funniest thing is Woody Harrelson's dad was with a group of bums that were photographed. They got off the train right when all this was happening, but when you look at the photograph, they're not bums. So why are they hopping a train, like pretending to be bums? They have new shoes on and pants. And then later on, like, oh no, those guys are Jim, Larry, and Doe. They're fine. They even came out and said we didn't do it. Bullshit. Woody Harrelson's dad in jail. At one point, he tried to say, like, yeah, I did, because he was like, he wasn't a nice guy. I didn't know that about Woody Harrelson's dad. He's a murderer. But anyways, I don't know. Now we'll leave that for the crazies. But motivation is somewhere between rogue CIA elements. I'll go with that. I'll go with Dulles. I bet he knew what was happening. I bet Lee Harvey Oswald, if he knew what was happening, like, was like, oh shit, I got to parachute out of here. I think I'm the guy falling for this. Or like, I did my part. I got to escape. I don't know, but he's not shooter. The mob, I think, yeah. I think somehow those elements who are working together to kill other leaders. Yeah. So It's a lot of stuff, man. And I've been going, I don't even know how long ago. I might have to break this out in a bunch of episodes. I don't know if I can, I gotta listen to it back. I don't even know if I made sense the whole time. But it's fun stuff. We started off like, God, Kennedy was doing a shitload of drugs, crystal meth shots. It's pretty important to talk about. Never learned it in school. Not once. Never learned it in school. And really, I didn't learn this at all. I learned Oswald, 3 shots, boom. Now, one last thing, we'll close it. 1976. I thought I started this before. I probably got down another rabbit hole. 1976 to 1978. The House Select Committee on Assassinations is formed, reinvestigates the Kennedy killing. And in 1978, they finally released a document. And this is classic for the government, like, with culpability. Like, it is likely that there were more than 3 shots. We're not sure how many. And we do find that it wasn't a lone nut. The Warren Commission was wrong on that. But we don't think it's the mob, the CIA. Okay, all right, let's go. It was like when in episode 1, we did the CIA crack. The CIA is like, they're everywhere. They bring guns for cocaine kind of thing. And then they deny. And then when 25 years later, when Bill Clinton has his affair with Monica Lewinsky, a report comes out and said, yeah, we were involved, but not like directly like you would think. But yeah, we might have like known what was happening. So famous for that. But the House Select Committee, HSCA, comes out. It was a conspiracy, meaning a lot of people are involved. And if a lot of people are involved, it had to be organized. And if it had to be organized, money, power, resources, the ability to cover up, and mob and rogue deep state. I don't know. So I'm not going to get to the answer, but I just keep like pondering and thinking. So, I hope I covered everything. I know I'll look at this and be like, oh my God, I didn't get to talk about that or that. But this is really fun. I hope it's fun. I hope it's not boring. It's a lot of stuff. I'm going to listen back, see if I got to chop it up or not. But History on Drugs, check us out. We'll have a new episode coming up in next week or so. Something else that's awesome. See you soon.